This week we'll be going over all of the achievements in Black Mesa. We are finally done with that game. This was one that was requested a decent amount in the comments and over on our Discord, so for the past month or so, that's what I've been grinding out. And now, let's go ahead and get into it. To go through this one efficiently, I'll go over the achievements as they become available throughout each chapter. And then at the end, we'll go over the ones that you have to do separate playthroughs for. At first, you'll go through the intro as normal, but eventually we'll get to Chapter 2, Anomalous Materials. First up, we have Proverbial Tinkerer for interfering with the alarm and laptop in the lobby. That'll be this laptop over on the side, mounted to the wall. Just hit E to interact with it, and then the alarm under the front desk. Then we have Brownian Motion for passing the toilet paper to the scientist in need. A little bit further into the level, there will be a bathroom that you can go into, and a scientist will mention that they need toilet paper. Just grab a roll and pass it under the stall.
Oh, thank heavens.
Convection Refinement is for ruining the microwave casserole. Close by to the last one, there's going to be a break room and a guard standing next to a microwave. Here, you'll want to activate the microwave to overcook the casserole and cause it to explode. We also can go over Caffeine Extraction on this chapter for extracting caffeine from 20 vending machines. You won't actually be able to get it yet, but keep it in mind while you go through the rest of the game. Basically, just when you're hurt, you'll activate vending machines to get health. Once you hit 20 times of doing this, you can get the achievement. This one hits a little too close to home. Then once we get to the part of doing the experiment, we can make a save and get Resonance Procrastinator for refusing to insert the specimen into the anti-mass spectrometer. For this, you'll just need to sit back and not do what the scientist wants you to as the experiment is going. Eventually, it'll explode and you'll get the achievement. Reload back to the experiment and we can get less than desirable consequences for dying in the AMS beam before starting the experiment. For this, you'll want to just jump into the beam once they ask you to put the specimen in. Then we can reload and actually do the experiment to go to Chapter 3, Unforeseen Consequences. Here we can get Prophylactic Suggested for getting overtaken by a head crab. Basically just let a head crab kill you and you'll get this one. Then Inflammatory Actions is for killing a head crab using fire. To do this, you'll need to grab a flare from the ground, there are plenty throughout this chapter, and smack a head crab with it until it catches on fire. Unified Coupling Theorem is for helping a barnacle and head crab find love. Now I didn't know they were into vor, but by finding love, they mean the barnacle needs to eat a head crab 10 times. You can just bait them over to barnacle tongues and grind it out that way. Of course, we can also start Rare Specimen on this chapter, but I'm gonna save that for later on in the video for a different playthrough. Hertz is for killing 5 enemies with 1 grenade. The easiest place to do this is right after the lift where head crabs jump at you all the way to the bottom of the lift. Just dodge all of the head crabs on your way down and then try to corral them into a corner and toss a grenade over there. This might take a few tries to do, but eventually you'll get there. The next one we can get is Well Done for cooking a grenade for too long. To do this, just pull the pin on a grenade and hold it in your hand until it blows up. Then we'll get to Chapter 4, Office Complex. The big one for this chapter that you'll want to pay attention to is Our Brain and Your Brawn, for assembling all of the possible scientists and guards at the end of the office. Now I made a separate video going over this because there are 6 of them and getting all of them to the end alive can be a little frustrating without some tips. Permeable Infrastructure is for using the alternate path in the office complex. This will be right after the Vortigaunt fight in the cubicles. On the other side of that area, you're going to find a couch with a ladder going up the wall behind it. Just go up there, and you'll get the achievement. Next is Calculated Trajectory for killing 10 airborne head crabs using the shotgun. Pretty self-explanatory. As they jump at you, just shoot it with a shotgun. Now we'll go to Chapter 5, We've Got Hostiles. You'll have a few chances to get digital wizardry at the beginning for killing 10 enemies with a reprogrammed sentry. When you pick one up and place it back down, it'll start looking for a new target. Just have it target 10 enemies and kill them, and you'll get the achievement. Another one that you'll have many chances of getting past this point is Kinetic Repulsion for killing a Marine with their own grenade. Once they throw it, you'll have a few seconds to pick it up and throw it back before it explodes. Try to time it well to kill them with it, as they can also throw it back at you if you give them enough time. Then on Chapter 6, Blast Pit, we can get Remote Detonation for killing a barnacle with a satchel. To do this, you'll just toss a satchel at the tongue of a barnacle, and once it gets close to him, just detonate it. Moving on to Chapter 7, Power Up, we can start working on Gray Matter Propulsion for headshotting 20 enemies with the 357 Magnum. There will be plenty of enemies past this point that you can headshot. Just aim for the head and pull the trigger. Next is One Step Ahead for killing 10 enemies with trip mines. This will be kind of tedious to do, but you'll just want to set trip mines up on the wall and lead enemies into it. This one can be a little bit of a grind. We won't have any other specific achievements until you get to Chapter 9, Apprehension, where we'll have Dead Reckoning for killing an assassin with a 357 Magnum. Once you see these enemies, you'll know. They're very skinny and jump around constantly. I honestly found using the Magnum to be one of the easier ways to kill them, so it's really not that hard to do with this weapon. Moving on to Chapter 11, Questionable Ethics, we have Ethically Questionable for conducting all of the questionable research experiments. There are 5 of these on the level, the first being the Grunt. Just press a button on the console to kill it in a questionable way. Then the second one will be the Snark's Cannon. You'll first need to press the button on your right, and then the button in the middle to launch a Snark. For the third, we have a Vaporizer Room where you'll just need to hit the button to vaporize the enemies in the room. Further along, we have the fourth one, which is the Gas Canister Room. You just hit the button on the wall with the gas canister to release it. Then the last experiment is the big laser that you have to fire to proceed through. But for this achievement, be sure to hit the button to shoot the main laser before unplugging the shield in order for it to actually count. Then we have Quantum Capacitance for overcharging it anyway. This is referring to the Tau cannon that you find, which you'll need to use to kill yourself. To do this, you'll just hold down the trigger on it until it overcharges and explodes. Universal Gravitation is for getting killed by your own snarks. In the room with the gas canister experiment, you can pick up some throwable snarks, and to have them kill you, you'll just stand in a corner and toss them out. Just stand there and let them slowly chip your health down until you die. Then Futile Resistance is for killing 10 enemies using snarks. This one I found kind of hard to do naturally, because the enemies usually just kill the snarks as they try to kill anybody you throw them at. So what I did was shot one a bit to weaken them, made a save, and then threw the snarks at them to kill them. Then just keep reloading that save and grind out those 10 kills. This is also going to be the chapter where we could start Pepperoni Precipitation, but again, that's going to be one we go over later on in the video. Moving on to Chapter 12, Surface Tension, we can get Centripetal Attraction for killing 20 enemies with the Hive Hand. This has infinite ammo, so just use it as you can to grind these 20 kills out. Then for nuclear fishing, you'll need to kill an ichthyosaur with either the Tau or gluon gun. This is pretty self-explanatory, but it can be hard to see these swimming around when you're above the water. What I did to make it easier to see was turn the graphics settings down, and I could see a little bit of an outline of it as it swam around. Stealth technology is for escaping the hangar and surface tension without alerting the soldiers. As long as you just follow the things that the guard says, you'll be good to go. Then moving on to Chapter 14, Lambda Core, we can get the next few achievements. Premature Expulsion is for using an entire clip of gluon ammo in one continuous shot. Just keep shooting it until you run out of ammo and you'll get the achievement. Next is Hypersaturation Conundrum for drowning in Lambda Core's coolant. Once you get to the coolant areas, you can just jump down into it and wait until you drown. Then Zen Wen is for waiting too long to jump into the Lambda teleporter. While you're running around the teleporter, just keep running and don't jump into the teleporter. Eventually, it'll explode and you'll get the achievement. Now we can move on to Chapter 15, Zen. This is where we'll have to start Prolific Popper for killing all protozoans in the border world. These are the purple blobs floating around for the rest of the game from this point. I also made a separate guide going over all of these locations, as there are a lot of them and some of them can be pretty hidden. Then you can get Orbital Trajectory for skipping the opening Zen Island with a secret jump. This is going to be from the spawn area, you just come up and to the right. Then go for a series of jumps until you can jump off to the next island, and once there, the achievement will pop. Then further through the level you'll get following the rules for using the welcome mat. Once you get to the little science building, you'll need to use the mat in front of the door before entering. Now inside of the science area, you'll be able to pick up the yellow canister of cyanogen, which you'll need to take with you all the way to the end of the next chapter. This is for the plan for using the cyanogen to kill the Gonarch. To do this, you'll bring it with you into the next chapter, and once you see the second one of these teleporter machines, you can place the canister on it and send it to the end. Then once you're in the long chase with the Gonarch, you'll see this supply canister on your path. To the left of it, there's going to be a tunnel opened up that you can go through. At the end of the tunnel, you'll see where the canister teleported to. This is also where you can put it in the machine to kill the Gonarch. Now once you get to chapter 16, Gonarch's Lair, we can also get Gonad Glider at the beginning for getting whacked into oblivion in the ledge fight. So during the first encounter with the Gonarch, you're going to want to get lined up so that it charges at you while you're near the ledge. Just let it hit you and sends you flying into space. We also have post-mortem interval for finding each member of the missing research teams. There are going to be 7 of these bodies on this chapter. The first being in the area before the healing pools and energy crystals where all of the bull squids are. Then when the Gonarch is above you and you're trapped, you'll find the second one. A little bit later on, when you climb onto a cliff to activate explosives below you, you'll be able to see the third body over to the left. The fourth one will be impossible to miss as you're running through, just make sure you activate it as you run. And then the fifth will be at the part where the Gonarch jumps down at you and opens up a cave on your left. Just go in there and you can grab this before proceeding. Then the sixth one will also be very hard to miss. It'll be in the spot in the oil where the Gonarch traps you in a little cave. The only way to escape is to light it on fire, but before you do that, make sure you activate the body. Then after the chase, since we brought the cyanogen canister with us, there will be a tunnel open on the left that you can go down. The seventh one will be over here on the ledge off to the left. Now once you go through that secret tunnel to the left, you can also get Unquestionably Ethical for letting the Gonarch live if you go this route. Instead of using the cyanogen to kill it, you can just jump across the platforms on the left and let it live for the achievement. Reloading back to the chase, you can keep going straight down the main tunnel so we can get Doctor's signature for delivering the finishing blow to Gonarch with your crowbar. You'll have to fight it using other weapons until it drops down to the lower level. Then down here, keep attacking it with whatever until it starts standing still, launching green goo at you. At this point, you can run up and start smacking it with your crowbar until it dies to get the achievement. Now we can finally move on to Chapter 17, Interloper. Here, we can get Antimatter over Mind for killing a controller without killing any of its mind-controlled Vortigaunt slaves. Once these start spawning in, you just need to make sure you go straight to killing these floating brain boys and not your Vortigaunt friends. Speaking of that, this is also how you're going to get PhD in Pacifism for not killing any Vortigaunts in the border world. There are 7 maps throughout Interloper where Vortigaunts will be present. Just be sure not to kill any of them as you go through the chapter, and you'll get the achievement. In the first village attack, you can also get Contest Propellant before you go into the lift. To the left of the lift, you're going to see 2 boxes blocking a door. Just go up there and you'll find the hidden snack cache. Next up is Black Mesa Decathlon winner for escaping the Gargantua's lair without taking any damage from Gargantuas. Save before you actually get into this, as you cannot save or load during the chase or it stops the achievement from being obtainable. If you accidentally do that, just reload a save before you get into the chase. That way you go through the chase completely uninterrupted. Then to actually get the achievement, you just need to run through here without getting hit by any of the big boys running around. For laser immunization, you'll need to complete Interloper without taking any laser damage. There will be multiple series of these laser areas, just save before each one to make sure you don't touch any of them as you go through. It might take a few tries to get done, but they're all pretty simple to get through. Now we can move on ahead to Chapter 18, Nihilanth. Here you can get late for work for defeating Nihilanth in under 4 minutes. You'll want to move through the fight as quickly as possible for this. Make sure as you're going through the first part of the fight that you put satchels on all 3 of the spots where crystals come up so that you can destroy them all at the same time. This will save a lot of time and will also get you the Specimen GG achievement. This is specifically, of course, for using these satchels to destroy all 3 of those crystals at the same time. Then moving on to Chapter 19 Endgame, you can get Limitless Potential for accepting G-Man's offer of employment. Once he tells you to choose, you can just go into the portal to get this achievement. Then reload that Endgame chapter and you can get rather an anticlimax for declining G-Man's offer of employment. Just stand around once he asks you to choose, and you'll eventually get this achievement. Now we can reload back to the chapter Unforeseen Consequences so we can get Rare Specimen and Rarest Specimen for taking the purple hat with you to the end of the game. These can be pretty frustrating to go through, but I made a separate video going over this one specifically, including where to find the hat, where to take it, and all of the steps between. Then the last achievement we have is Pepperoni Precipitation for viewing the other secret ending. This is very similar to the Rare Specimen and Rarest Specimen achievements, but for this one you don't have to go as far. The pizza you'll pick up in the chapter Questionable Ethics, and then you'll have to take it all the way to the end. One thing to note is that ladders are even harder to navigate with the pizza. You have to be much more careful going through to try not to lose it. When possible, the easiest way to get up ladders will be to pick up the pizza, climb onto the ladder, and turn 180 degrees to where you're facing away from the ladder, and climb up backwards. Once you get to the very end with it, you just jump through the portal, kill Nihilanth, and you'll get the achievement. And with that, we now have 100% of the achievements in Black Mesa. And of course, we have YouTube memberships now, so if you want to support the channel further, get access to custom emotes to use in the comments, and have your name featured in a credit section at the end of the videos, go ahead and join that now.